Progress.
Michael, get off of there and send me a request to join me live, please, so we can have this conversation with you this morning. Did you forget it? Hit join so we can bring you on, Michael. I've been talking about you all morning, except I can't tell the story like you can because I don't know enough about it. So if you hit the join live, I can accept you to come on. And then if you have a problem doing
the only thing with the Rome Yard is the delay. You know, they started late, like 3-4 years late, and you know, there's been a lot of talk about that because it costs.
Well, they're kicking it off. They're starting first. If Michael could get on with us, he can talk about it. I talked about all that with him on Wednesday night. I mean, on a couple of days ago when we did our recording for Wednesday night. So that's why I wanted him to come on this morning.
I think in a benefits agreement, again, what is it when you...
Michael, hold on, Robin. Michael, are you on your phone? Because if you are, you look at the bottom of your phone, you'll see what looks like a little person, and you touch that little person. And then I can... Leroy say overslept. Can't oversleep on Saturdays, Leroy. Michael, you should see a little man. It looks like a person inside of a little TV screen at the bottom of your phone. I have an iPhone. What kind of phone do you have? Because somebody who has a phone like yours can tell you better if you have an iPhone. Oh, there you are. Let's get you. Y'all know sometimes they let me bring two people on, sometimes they won't. But looks like this morning it says, "Good morning, Michael." Here he comes. Y'all know sometimes they let me bring two people on, sometimes they won't. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Michael. Here he comes.
How's everybody? Please forgive me. I haven't had my coffee yet.
Michael, we don't want any excuses from you this morning. Please forgive me. Michael, turn down your volume on your phone. Michael, we don't want any excuses.
Okay, is we good now?
That's much better. Absolutely.
Good morning.
Good morning. Soon to be Representative Hart. How are you today? We're gonna get you there, right? We're not playing. People got to understand. They better stay back.
That is the plan. Michael, that is the plan.
So, Michael, we want to get started because today I'm having a yard sale. So I need to break off of here on time today. And I want teachers to know that we're giving away school supplies to teachers. We have pencils, we have pens, we have composition books. I mean, we have a lot of school supplies. And I was going to take them to the school, but this morning, if any of you all are out and about teachers, stop by and get some school supplies at 2912 North 26th Street. For those of you who are looking, you're decorating your house or whatever, you could use some items. We're selling them cheap because we want to move them. And we know that somebody else could certainly use some of the things that we're not using, which makes sense. So, Michael, I would like you to, let's jump right in here this morning. We'll start with a benefits agreement. Maybe Robin, where would you like to start? Rome Yard benefit agreement or the Web 3? I want them all.
The Web 3 is interesting.
We'll let you talk about that. Michael, back up a little bit from your phone so we can see your face. There you go. There you go. So let's talk about the Web 3. Let's start with Web 3 and how Web 3 ties to that community benefit agreement and what people can do. Because I've been talking about the money that folk can borrow and all of that, but I don't know the particulars. So let's go.
Okay, so the Web 3.
Michael, you did it again. Back up so we can see you. Right there. Stay right
there. You go.
Please.
Okay, so the Web 3. The Web 3 is an extension of the Web 2.
Michael, hold on. I'm sorry. Michael, move over and stay where you were. Go over a little bit more.
Here?
Yeah, right there. We want to see your face while you're talking.
Okay. Because I'm kind of holding the phone up at the same time.
No, I need you to sit the phone down so it's stable. Can you sit it down, please?
Let me see if I can set this down. Hold on 1 second. Let me try to maneuver this.
Never stay still in your hands.
And I'm supposed to be the technology guy too.
Right. And you can.
Hold on 1 second. How's that?
Nope. You're up too high. Come down some.
Okay.
Are Are you sitting in an adjustable chair?
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me see.
Phone down, then adjust your seat to the height of the telephone.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me see
We're
what I
gonna have
can.
to fire him, and he's the technology man.
Does this work?
That works right there, but do not move, please.
I'm not going to move. We good?
Huh?
Are we good?
We're good.
Okay, so, folks, let me tell you something. What I'm about to say is a whole new, different way of thinking. The Web3, which is part of the Romeo deal, is the next extension to the web. You have the Web 1, and then you have the Web 2. The Web 2 was centralized. That is, it was controlled by Facebook. It was controlled by LinkedIn and all these other individuals. That means when you get on that platform, you have to pay them or they kick you off. The Web 3 is totally different. It's called DeFi financing. That means that we can go around the banks when we need loans. That means that we can have our own ownership. For example, if you got a song that you want to put on the Web3, you can do that. But the Web3 is totally different in that it takes us into a different thing. One of the most important things I think Diane liked was the fact that we don't have to go to banks now. With the Web3, instead of going to a bank, if we know we're going to be denied, the Web3 only requires that you have at least a good business plan. You don't have to have good credit. You don't have to have you don't even have to have a degree, college degree on any of that. It's based on your business plan. So the Web3 offers that total different. The other thing I think that most people like about the Web3 is that it deals with ownership. For example, have y'all ever heard of NFTs?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's say, for example, I'm always making up words, right? I'm always making up words. They just come to my mind. Normally, I didn't have any protection on those words, so anybody could say them. With the Web3, I can actually go on the Web3 and make sure that that phrase right there can only be used by people when they pay me. So the Web3 is awesome in that particular respect.
So how do you get to the Web3?
Well, the Web3 is out there. The Web3 is just like the Web 2. On the web, you know how the Web 2, you go to Facebook and everything like that? Well, the Web3 is the same. They got sites that you can go to. As a matter of fact, I got about 4 different videos on it. If you go to my Facebook page, it'll tell you all about the Web3 and how it's totally changing things. Let me give you an example of the Web3. Snoop Dogg. Everybody familiar with Snoop Dogg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Snoop Dogg does not use does not use Facebook, does not use LinkedIn. He uses his own format as a result of Web3. What that means is that money comes directly to him and he pays nobody. So as definitely celebrities are jumping on this in order for the Web3. The other thing about the Web3, and I know Diane has had a conversation about that, you know when you try to get a loan for your house or something like that, and the banks act stupid? Well, on the Web3, you can actually, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop each of those different programs or different videos into this right here so people can see it. Because I'm not really even giving it the respect because I haven't had my coffee. So, but anyway, the Web3 is totally different. And I think if Diane was fascinated by it, you know, it's not too many things get her fascinated, right? If she was fascinated about it, that means that we got something totally new to do. And the Web3 is that. Now, I hate that I'm not giving this just cause.
Well, Michael, you got 30 minutes, so you don't have to rush through it. We got a couple of questions. And those of you out there who might have a question about Web3, go ahead and drop it in the chat. For me, I'd like to know, are you dropping the links in? You'll drop the links into the chat this morning so that we know how to go about applying. Is there an application process in the Web3, even to create my own platform? Is there an application I have to go through?
No, it is an application that you have to go through, but you can create your own platform. What you have to do is go to these different platforms to give you the tools necessary to create your space out there. But
And when you say go to the necessary platforms, what platform would I go to be able to use the Web3 if I wanted my own platform separate from Facebook? If I didn't want
yeah, you got about 6 or 7 companies out there, and I'll drop their names down there, and they will give you the tools in order to create your own. I'm trying to find some more examples of the Web3. I'm looking at my computer and see
Let
if
me
I
ask you
have
this.
it.
If we want to borrow money, there is a site that we go on to fill out that application in order
Exactly.
to borrow money. Can you also drop that one in the chat for us?
I'm going to drop all these good things in the chat room, right? Because let me tell you why. For so long, we've been denying loans as a Black people, or we poor for so long. Am I messing up this? For so
Yes,
long.
you are.
With the Web3, I think I was. With the Web3, it changes all that. Give me 1 second while I try to bring up some more more information about the Web3.
On the
Any
financial.
other questions while I'm looking for some more information?
I have it up, and it talks about the blockchain and that kind
There
of stuff.
you go, blockchain. Okay, excellent.
And decentralizing the data ownership
Yes,
and
yes,
control on
yes.
the internet. So now I have it up. So I went
Now,
out.
Diane, when you say the data, you know who steals your data? Facebook, LinkedIn, everybody steal your data, right? With the Web3, that's a whole different. You own it. It's called your own ownership.
So who created it?
Some guy created it. Let me see.
I see where you create an account on Web3 because I'm up on Web3.
Yes.
And it says create an account. So I guess if I was to click on create an account, yeah. Let me see.
So if they don't take your identity and keep it or whatever, or be able, is there a contract that you signed in that agreement, or is it said somewhere that it's different
you have
than
what's known
Facebook?
as, and Diane just mentioned it. You have what's known as blockchain.
Blockchain.
Blockchain is like your own digital file. Nobody can steal it, and nobody can get your information off of it. So you put it on blockchain to make sure nobody steal your information.
Are you all teaching this over at the CDC?
We are. As a matter of fact, I'm teaching it nationally. I mean, of course, I'm doing it at the West Tampa CDC, but I do things on a national basis. And in that particular respect, we are. Let me give you some examples, because they give me good examples here. Give me 1 second while I pull it up.
I need you to keep your face on this camera.
Okay.
You gotta be able to work. Look, you gotta be able to work, read, and let us see you.
Okay, let me give you some example. The Web2 today, you got Google, you got Facebook, they control your data. The Web3, you own your own data. The Web2, you got to log into your account, you got to have password, and they own that platform. With the Web3, you can line in. See, the other thing about the Web3, have any of y'all ever heard of crypto? Because that's what the country is going to. Bitcoin and all like that. That's the Web3, y'all. That's part of the Web3. And then you have revenue goes to big tech. Big tech. You know how when we go on Facebook and we get all these likes and everything, they give us penny on the dollar. Penny on the dollar. With Web3, it's decentralized. You don't need any censorship. With the Web3, the Web2, certain application is banned. I know, man, them fools, man, did me like that. I had put something on about an upcoming meeting on Facebook, and I talked about black on black violence. Man, didn't they take me down and block me and restrict me? On the Web3, I own that, so they can't do that.
So, Michael, so everything always starts out free, fun, and very favorable.
Oh, no, it's not free. You have to pay.
Oh, so because I'm wondering how he's making money. So
yeah, you have to pay, but by paying, it's an investment. Now you get 3 or 4 times your money back because you cut out the middleman.
Okay, and how much is the investment?
They vary anywhere from like $90 and up.
This
Okay, so
says,
But if you go to the Web3, you already know you want big money. So that $9 don't mean nothing if you're trying to get 100,000. If you look at it like that, because money makes money.
okay, I'm on the site. It says sign up for AWS is what came up when I went up here on Web3. What is Web3? It explains all it to you. What is the core ideas of Web3?
Exactly what they talking about. If you go to my video, and I'm going to drop it in the box, I do the same thing, but I explain it in layman terms.
Okay. And they talk about the blockchain technology, tokenization.
Ashley says, Ashley asked, what are the pros and cons? And then she said 9K.
Yeah, that's what he was using as an example, as opposed to making $900. Because you all know that Facebook is now paying people for their content.
Yeah.
So
yeah, most people that go to the Web3, these are people with money and they want to make more money. So you can use Facebook to gather that money necessary, but then you want to run over there, man, and go to the Web3 to own it.
And it'll be a certain type of people that will be on Web3 because everybody can't afford $90 a month.
Most of the people that's on Web3 is funders and investors looking for a deal to happen.
So yeah, it's a different caliber.
Yeah, it's the same as LinkedIn. That's why I don't really use Facebook. LinkedIn, if you want to make money, you go to LinkedIn because that's business to business.
I didn't know that LinkedIn paid people for their. Look, I'm learning something new every day.
They can pay you. Yes, they do. They can pay you as well.
It starts at $90. Yeah, she said over $90 a month. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And think about it. That $90 investment, if you're definitely looking at making big money, you know, definitely. As a matter of fact, your shows that you do, Diane, you can put that on the web. That means nobody can sit on out there.
Hey, I got me an income maker and don't even know it, right?
Yes, that's a big time income maker.
Wow.
Oprah don't do her shows on Facebook or anything like that. She uses the Web3.
Oh.
All of the big people with the big money is using the Web3.
How many people do they have like paying customers right now? And in order for you to view it,
I would say about 69 million. Yeah, they got 69.3 million.
Oh wow.
It's really hey.
And that number's grown every day.
I bet. So Michael, would you schedule a training for those of us who might like to come in to the CDC and sit down and help set up that site with us and walk us through that? Because I
go one step further. We could do this online.
Oh, well then
I can invite you to the new. You don't even have to leave your house. I tell you right now, 90% of my work is done on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really do those face-to-face meetings no more.
So should we do it in a Zoom type atmosphere where we could bring on, say, 100 people?
And well, I can get up to 250 on mine.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I think I can get 250 to 300. I think the most I've ever had is 350. But so we can.
I tell you what, it's going to change the whole narrative, and it's so important more than anything else to me. It's to get this information to the poor community because we know the last one to learn what's going on.
Always.
And Michael, in order to view it, how can someone view it if they're not a member, or can they view it?
Like
anybody. My videos are shareable, so you can share. You can do whatever you want.
But coming to somebody like if I created a platform, I can either have it open, or you would have to, or I can have it where you subscribe to my platform in order to see it.
Well, guess what? Most people do the subscribe thing. They're not on Facebook on Web3 for Play. They in there to make money.
So that's what I'm saying. So if it's subscribe, if I have mine that you have to subscribe, how does that look? If somebody's just looking around trying to see if they like the platform and see what they see, or how does that look?
Well, you would have a website out first where they can go and play with those things like that even before they go do it. So you would have information about you, what you do, why people should subscribe to you, the whole thing. You do a marketing plan. When people hit that button, when they hit you, where your Web3 is, all that's going to, just like right now, if you did it to Facebook, you have to subscribe to it. In all those other places, you have to subscribe to it. So it's the same way.
Interesting.
It's not much different. So let's jump over because I need to talk a little bit about this benefits agreement. No, tell us how to get this money. How do we borrow the money? We have to have a business plan.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily, it's not credit driven. So I'd like to be able to drop that site in.
You have to have a bankable business plan. Yeah. A lot of people do a business plan, it's like an essay. It doesn't work with the bank. And we do that too. We even get trained on how to do professional business plan. We do about 15 different types of training that we do. Again, this is the Center for Nonprofit and Community Development as opposed to West Tampa. Certain things that I do at the West Tampa Technology Center. But that same knowledge that I share with them is also available for people around the country. In fact, I got about 27 states that I'm doing work in. It's either ready to get a nonprofit started or showing them how to do Web3 or how to do a strategic plan or anything like that.
Wow. So you all, first of all, I didn't even introduce Michael properly. I think I'm on my show and we're live on Facebook this morning having a conversation. But Michael is the CEO of the community, the Center for Not-for-Profit Community Development. Michael is a graduate. Michael, tell us what college you went to.
Well, I went to the University of Baltimore and the University of Maryland. Now, I came here to FAMU. FAMU, I got training in how to do business plans. So I got accreditation for them on how to do business plans.
So I wanted Michael to say that so that you all do understand that he's very serious in what it is that he's doing, and he does have.
Oh, that's only part of it. I've been trained by the best. I've been trained by investors, bankers. I've been trained by developers, all these different folks. See, when I was coming up, I was supposed to take that knowledge and go back to the private sector. I didn't. I decided to stay in the hood and to teach us how we can get rich. That's part of our technology wealth building center. Make sure that we get rich as a people, because it's right now as consumers we spend $1.9 billion.
Yeah.
Every day.
That's only part of it. $340 billion is spent on items that are not essential. Can you imagine what happens with that money? And that's what we teach. We teach people how to move from a consumer to an investor. So you like those Nike shoes, right? Nike shoes might be $400. I can't afford that. Yes, you can. You can buy $20 into that shoe. You see what I'm saying? Wow. And you build up your capital. So we're teaching them that, you want to invest in stocks and bonds and all those other things in order to make money work for you instead of you working for money.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Rome Yard and the community
benefit agreement.
Right.
So as you know, there's been a lot of delays in the Rome Yard deal, and it's been justified because they came and they presented it to the CAC, and we was all over them at the last CAC meeting, right, relevant to what's going on. And they explained what was going on, and they did it also at the city council meeting. They gave a breakdown as to what was going on with the Rome Yard deal. So right now we're looking at them. Well, they have already started. We're talking maybe in September, our building will be put up because West Tampa is getting a training center and offices as well. We even get to have the lease to the building so we can even make money by letting people rent out the building. But let me tell you how we did the deal. The way we did the deal was this. They was expecting us to be at the table, not to understand how to make a deal. They said, we're going to let these poor community people at the table, this still please them. But when we show them our level of sophistication, all of a sudden that conversation changed. Because they understood that we knew, and we knew because we was trained by them. That's what they didn't understand. that background. I know the language. I know how to talk. Out of that deal came into Technology, Wealth Building, and Job Creation Center. It is a one of a kind in the nation. The wealth building side of the table deals with the Web3. It deals with how to do your how to do stocks and bonds and things of that nature. But the AI is the most important because we're using AI in order to create jobs. We're talking about we're going to create 90 AI jobs for low-income people. Low-income people in order for them to make a living. We're also doing what's known as home-based and e-commerce businesses. We know right now, Diane, you're a business lady. You know right now a lot of people can't afford bricks and mortar, but they need money. Well, the solution to that, anybody can do a home-based and e-commerce business and bring in that money, and you don't even have to leave your house. So we're teaching people how to think smart in order to be able to get ahead in this economy. And I'm telling you right now, we got people from around the country looking at us, what we're doing with the Technology Center. Because we finessed a deal that wasn't supposed to be.
We're
supposed to get a little something.
I need you to talk about how many units you all have been instrumental in helping to ensure will be in that complex that.
Oh, this is awesome, man. This is almost one of a kind, that deal. I got to say, the developers themselves, man, put a lot of things on the table that other developers didn't. That's why the other developers, when they bid for this, didn't get it. Well, they're doing about 934 units. And those units are going to be from anywhere from 20% to all the way up to 120% of AMI. The way they're able to do the deal with the AMI at 20% and above, Housing Authority comes in to make the deal sweet because they give that person a voucher to move in. So now we got on one end a person that makes maybe low income. On the other end, you got a person that's making $1 million a year. It's all mixing and all blending together as part of the realm yard deal. But
so, Michael, of the 900 units, how many are 20%, 30%, under 50%? 50%
yeah, 930. Because you got another 500 that's market rate.
So 400 is 430 is 50% and below AMI.
Well, not yet. Below 50 cents. It starts at 20% on up to 120%. That's the first bracket for affordable home. Then you got another level that goes up, and this is for people that's making like anywhere from 120 on up to 200 on up to 400 medium. So we did a deal that was blend but make sure everybody gets in that deal. But Housing Authority is known for working those deals like that. So it was the Rome Yard and the Housing Authority, along with banks and things of that nature. Leroy made sure that I was part of that team when this deal was coming through, because he understood that at that particular point, West Tampa didn't have an office per se, but we definitely had ideas. So we got at the table to express our idea, and guess what? Now we're about to get an office. We went from, understand, we did this with no money, no web page, right? No paid staff, and we pulled it off like this because we had a community that was willing to fight the fight. We came into the game like that. When we started the West Tampa CDC, they brought me in from Baltimore to first oversee that program and then to create a strategic plan. What's different about that strategic plan? We created our own table. We did the plan, and then we invited everybody to be part of that plan. Well, the government came. We said, this is what the government do. Higher institution came. This is what you do. Business came. This is what you do. So we already set ourselves up as creating the table. And that's why I tell neighborhoods, you got to create your own plan. When people come in to do your strategic plan, they're going to do it through their vision. So you have to recreate your own plan, and you sit at the table now. Because we did that, anything that comes to West Tampa now, they come knocking on our door.
So, Michael, so you listen to your own city council every week, like I'm there. With the CRA, what is the difference between where West Tampa is versus East Tampa? Because East Tampa, you hear the different concerns that come up with East Tampa. What's the difference between those two?
Well, and I think the lady said when she came up from East Tampa, West Tampa got a lot of professionals on that CAC board. So that makes it a real big difference. You got people that's in finance that's sitting on that board. You got people like Joe that's into engineering that's on that board. So you got a lot of people with these skill sets necessary in order to finesse himself. And that's why even Councilwoman Young was saying when she was at the meeting in West Tampa really like the number one because we got just about everything we needed. But it wasn't by chance. It was by creating a plan first, making an argument second, and then bringing the community along third, and then making the deal work. And we are one of the youngest CRAs that's out there. We're one of the youngest. Yeah, we are the last, I think. Yeah. But yeah, we're moving like we're on fire.
Well, let me ask you this. When we talk about the community benefits agreement,
okay.
So you told me on Wednesday that West Tampa is one of the only currently with that, and that the city is going to be expanding it throughout the city. Everybody, talk a little bit about what that looks like and why isn't already everybody allowed to have a benefits agreement? Or maybe we're is using it. So
that's a good question. I think one of the reasons why we don't think ahead. I think sometimes we think in Tampa behind. We always think in Tampa in terms of what the developer's going to get. The community benefit changes that. Because now they say to the developer, we'll give you these subsidies and everything like that, but you have to bring back something to the community in order for us to cut the deal. And the deal in Rome Yard was the Center for the Technology and Wealth Building Center. That being said, now I think they're meeting Tuesday. They're going to now develop a citywide community benefit agreement. The reason why we did so good with our community benefit agreement, because we showed that we can reduce gentrification, we can reduce crime, and we can create a ton of jobs for people, and we can create wealth by people starting their own business. So that's the way we frame our program. Community benefit agreement only give you the right, but then you have to come up with the right program to be funded.
So, Michael, now it's my understanding that the city does have a community benefits agreement. Orlando Goose created one, and Nicole had since perfected it. So they already had it.
Though. It sat there, never really being used. You're right. Those individuals laid the ground.
Because it's only so it only kicks in when someone deals with affordable housing. That's when it kicks in.
When someone asks for subsidies, see, some developers not asking for subsidies.
Right.
But if you're asking for a break from the city, that's when it kick in. And you're right, it sat there as a document for years. Yeah. You know, until the Rome Yard deal came. And that's what created the first.
They found out what they're missing.
Yeah, that created the first community benefit agreement. And we're privileged because most countries need what we got in that community benefit agreement because it changes the whole narrative, the whole narrative. If we combine that with the CRA, see, the CRA is only about bricks and mortar. You cannot get programs out of it. But if you marry that with the community benefit, now you got people in places.
That's what's missing.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I think we learned something this morning, that any developer coming into our community, and most of them are asking for something. Some come in and just build whatever they want, but very few do that. They come in, they want something from us. And when I say
and we give it up cheap.
Right.
And that's true.
Because they're looking at it with the city, they're not looking at it long term. They're just looking at it, hey, we're getting affordable housing, and we say we're gonna have this much housing. How do you feel about the raise and the community benefits agreement that they're trying to pull together?
I don't know, but other people, we plan to get paid big time on that deal. Here's our argument. With all that coming up, guess what? It's going to lead to more gentrifications in the communities that surround that. So we need a deal similar to the Romeo deal, similar to creating jobs. That's part of that particular deal. And I've had conversation with some of those people to let them know that when that deal manifests itself, we're not coming plain. We're coming for money.
Well, the housing that they're going to build they're not building out anywhere. They're building on those acres that they have. They're not building out. So in regards to gentrification and so forth. But oh no, it's like a bomb. If you drop that bomb,
not moving any people. They are they're not tearing down any houses.
No, understand this. It's not the immediate area. It's the impact that it's going to have to the surrounding area. Anytime you put new development up, it has a domino effect around the areas 2 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles.
If it's not thoughtful. What happened with the city is that they had insensitive building. I can't even think the word I want to use, but they were just building without even thinking about the repercussions. They were building.
You're right.
Reckless building. But when you have a plan and it's thoughtful, you're thoughtful, then the outcome will be different.
But nevertheless, if you look up gentrification, you're going to find that it's not the immediate area that's a concern also, but it's the area immediate around it. West Tampa, man, Jordan Park, all those areas around it, they're going to see the level of what it costs for a house goes up. Only because you got development coming. And that's what people don't realize. It's not the immediate area, it's the ramification.
Yeah, you're right. So development will happen.
Properties.
Yeah.
But you're right. But now we know better and we do better.
Yes,
so now
exactly.
You're smarter at it, and you can, and when they're calling on a meeting or when they're trying to build, that's when the community comes out, because community can't shut things down.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be sophisticated dealing with these people. I'm serious. I've said in where I have developers. I mean, these people make $800, $900, $1 million, right? Yeah. And I sat there because they say, "Oh, this little puny little black boy, he don't know nothing." But honestly, by the time I leave that meeting, I gain that respect. And they say, "Oh, you know what? We can do this deal. We can make money, and at the same time, we can help others." Because one of the things I share with them is that this is a write-off, right? Anything that you give us through this community benefit agreement, you can write it off. And then you got the money back, plus you got community relationship. You're known as the developer that comes in and help the whole community and not just your project.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's an event. I think and I still stand on this, because unless they put something in writing and it's totally different than what was presented, I find it very interesting that they're using the word investment. They're investing in the community.
No, they invested in themselves. They invested in themselves. Definitely.
So that's part of. So everybody wants to make money.
Yeah.
So they're not doing business not to make money. But the thoughtfulness in regards to what they're putting out there in regards to jobs and so forth that's how everybody needs to come to the city and the county when they want to do business with the city and county. And that's what needs to happen.
So you so on point. So I did an interview. I don't know if you're familiar with Tampa Bay. Invest Tampa Bay. This is a major company that does investors, tell investors what's good and what's bad. When I did an interview with them, they were so impressed with what I was talking about, what I call equity community development, in which we can have big money being made, but the community can benefit too. They're asking me now to speak before 400 investors from around the country in their upcoming workshop in September. So that means I'm coming before these 400 investors that's coming from around the country to talk money. And I'm trying to shift the attitude that money is good, but money and helping people at the same time, and this is how you do it. Not only community benefit agreement, but we're talking about the opportunity zone. We're talking about the land trust. We're talking about combining all these deals into one deal to make the deal work. definitely. In the enterprise zone, that's another one. Nobody talks about the enterprise zone. But what we do is to finesse all of those from the federal, state, and federal level to make the deal work, in order to make it work. And I think that's what they was impressed about from the people. And these people, man, I tell you, they so sophisticated. They was giving me that little workshop. I mean, that little who they are. And I said, God damn, excuse my expression. I said, Dad, these people serious, man. Right? I said, yeah, all over. I said, me, you want me? But then God told me, Mike, didn't I build you for this? Shut up and do what you need to do.
That's
so
right.
I'm shutting up and I'm doing what I need to do.
That's right.
Leroy wants to know, will Black people get the jobs? That's the question. That's the reason that Michael's getting involved, to ensure.
You better, brother. What do you think we're involved for? It's all about Black when we step in the game. It's not only Black, but it's poor too. It's Black and poor people. So we don't even get in the game if you ain't talking about how we benefit as a people. You know, we'll leave that table real quick and look for the next deal to make. So Leroy, that's a good question, man, because a lot of times we sell out. We get pennies, man. And we go back to the community like they are happy and everything, and people are about to get kicked out the community. Now, you need to come back to that community, rest assured. We got jobs coming we're going to create so you can stay in this community. You know, that's how we have to finesse these deals, man. And a lot of time our leaders that sit at the table and say they represent us, well, they there for reputation. They so good to happy to be at that table, they will sell out their grandson.
Yeah.
Now, but you can't.
And a lot of times it's them sitting at the table and them not knowing, right?
Yes.
But they're chosen and they sit at the table because you know, they're unaware and they don't know.
Yes.
So a lot of people have to be mindful of that also. That
you're 100% right, but I would be remiss if I didn't plug in the fact that's why someone like you is needed in the state. To see it from a different perspective. You understand? To understand, hold up. We learned about all these particular deals right here. We want to know how can we finesse this to bring money back to the city. You know, Diane did a great job. You know, now when you come in, man, kick the door open and make it happen. One of the most important things you'll be able to do on that seat is to bring back money to the community. But it should be stipulation. If you give the money to the community, you have to tell them, hey, you got to find a way to make 3 times this amount. We'll give you this for seed money, but we need you to take this money and make it into more. Right now, with our plan, for every $1 spent, you get anywhere from 12 to 22% return investment on your money. And that's what we have to hold everybody to. When that money comes in from the state, see, money makes money. You have to tell them you're not a nonprofit. You're a nonprofit only by status.
Right.
But you're a business person, and you have to think like that.
Intended for you not to earn an income. That's the only way that you can help other people is you're earning money from your deals. I mean, and people say, well, not-for-profits are not supposed to make a profit. That's not what it means.
Yeah.
But you know, that's ludicrous. That's
nonprofit is all about tax exemption.
That's the old nonprofit people talking about that. You know, they not talking. No, we are an enterprise. We what you known as a social enterprise.
There you go.
Yeah.
That means that we make money. That's our whole purpose.
That's the only way you become sustainable, if you make money. That's why so many of these nonprofits are holding on by thread because the city and the county are taking money from it. They've been on the books for 30 years.
And you can't do that. You cannot live on grants completely.
You can't. For us,
and carry your own organization.
For us, we only looking at 20% of grants. 80% of our money is going to come from earned income.
That's what we do.
So, exactly. So you have to come in like that, you know? You have to come in like that. But I can tell you something, Diane. Man, this community benefit, if y'all finesse it right, y'all going to bring in tons of money into East Tampa. Tons of money. But you have to be sophisticated, like your group in the CDC of Tampa. You know, y'all going to be the ones that have to drive that community benefit.
He said something that was key because he said, you know, okay, because they've been fighting with their, from what I see with their, with five toes down instead of 10. Because what they didn't do is have the benefits agreement connected with the CRA.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever the CRA is not able to do, the benefits agreement can force them to do it.
Are you talking about the deal with CDC and what they're building?
No, I'm just talking about the CRA, the East Tampa CRA, just on its own.
Okay. Well, y'all know that I'm having a yard sale today, so I promised I wasn't going to stay on this because I need to go outside, but I'm going to talk a telephone so that you all can see some of the items that we have for sale today. Teachers, if there are teachers out there, somebody who knows teachers, we are giving away school supplies to the teachers only, not to parents, but to the teachers, because I want the teachers to take a lot of these things back to their classrooms and they'll have them. School's almost over. I know they're going to be looking for, items summer goes so quick and they need to start compiling stuff right now for their next year's classes. So we have lots of items that we'd like to give to our teachers. All that I don't give away today. I'm taking over to Potter Elementary, my elementary school. Last time I did Potter, I did James, I did Sly, I did Young. So, we try and spread it around to all the schools in my district. And I don't know any way. Oh, She High. So we've done a lot of the schools in the past, trying to just make sure that whatever we get, we give it away to.
Hey, Diane, let me say this real quick because it's so important. Because you do housing. Now you can use the Web3 to get additional money.
That's
so you don't only have to depend on the banks to get that money. You can take that deal, put it on the Web3, and get money from around the world.
Diane, let me suggest this. Can we have a part 2 of Michael next week to continue this conversation? If you don't have anybody scheduled.
I don't have anybody scheduled because I'm trying to wait to qualify. So before we start all of our.
Okay. So Michael, would you come back next week for a part 2 of this conversation?
This thing is so important to me. Since 2019, I've been jumping up screaming about this.
So
hey folks, it's something different coming down the pipeline. Pay attention. They're coming.
Michael, I need you to go out and buy you a little stand. It's very inexpensive. The phone is shaking and moving around. Your face in one spot.
Honestly, had I known this, I got to stand. But I couldn't get to it because it's in the afternoon, right? I thought I was going to do this on the computer, right? So that threw me off. But I do have a stand.
Okay.
Let me conclude
around on the screen. I need you sitting still so we can look at you.
I know, because I get you dizzy doing like this. But let me emphasize this, because I have to come back to how important this election is.
Calm down, Michael. Come down. We can't see your whole face.
Can you see it now?
No, come on down. Come on. Right there. No, you went back up. Thank you.
Okay, let me tell you how important this election is. And that's why it's so important that we get Rep Lockett in that seat. Right now, folks, Rep Hart, Lockett. Yeah, that's what I mean. Right now, what we're seeing is the government defund Black programs.
Yes, sir.
What we're seeing now is that we're no longer able to get money from these banks, and they're stripping us and everything. What we have to understand, and what Rep Lockett understand, is that so many ways that we can maneuver that. Remember Black Wall Street, y'all, when we made it from nothing? Have we forgotten as a people? We can take nothing and make something. We've gotten so dependent on the government. Notice when I go to city council, I very seldom ask them for anything. Because I understand we're doing so good at what we do, they're going to come to us that want to be part of what's good. And that's how you finesse that deal. I see Councilwoman Young has come on here. Make sure we got to get Councilwoman Young back in office. Back in office.
Yes.
Well, I thank you all for joining us this morning.